Yeah.
We started. Welcome.
What you doing here?
Welcome.
How'd this clown get here?
This is.
Who let this guy
This
in?
is 2 years later, and I'm here. And so we have a very, 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 very awesome show today.
Hey, that was
That actually is the best intro we've ever had, I think.
bravo.
Yeah, bravo.
That was good, man.
That was off the top of
Freestyling.
But you got to introduce our guests
That
now.
was a Just Cause. That was a Just Cause best.
I'm trying to welcome them to Just Cause.
Oh, my
This
bad.
is the Just Cause podcast, the dopest podcast in the city. And we would like to introduce
Just ask me, I'll tell him.
our few, we have a few guests. We would like to introduce them to you. In fact, we're going to let them introduce themselves, and we will start for this young man right here. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Chinook Sean. How you doing? Nice to meet everybody.
Chinook Sean is the new one.
Yeah, I'm changing my name to Chinook Sean.
Okay, and then I'll
In
introduce
case y'all didn't
myself,
know.
because I'm One Body D.
That's what we're going to do.
And I'm Chinook John.
There it is. And Shay.
Yes, I'm Shay.
Chinook Shay.
You can be Chinook Shay. Chinook Shay today.
I'm down.
Hell yeah.
But I'm also K-Land D.
Kaylan.
Kaylandy.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh my
That's a
God,
good
I'm going to
one.
start calling you Kaylandy.
That's a good one.
You know.
All right, man. That was good, man.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the show's done now.
Yeah,
to be perfectly honest.
I gotta
was like,
tell you, man, I didn't expect for you to be able to do that.
No, you know I've been practicing.
And this is all my fault. Because, first off, let's give Les a round of applause, guys.
dude, we put it. Oh, we
Thanks,
made Les
Les.
do a lot of work today.
Les, and the only reason he didn't flip us off is because Shay's here, I know.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, damn. Way to egg him
But
on.
yeah, man, we had to flip the script. So first of all, what's the property management's name?
Progressive Property
Progressive
Management.
Property Management. Let me tell y'all something. I want my money back
They got to get on
for
their
that
shit,
damn
man.
room in there because it's unusable. So that's why we're in the main room
Yeah.
at the Chinook Center.
Right. I mean, this is fine. It's beautiful in
Yeah,
here.
it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. So yeah, so we appreciate you guys coming back. John, where the hell you been at, bro?
I've been here all day, actually.
Where have you been? You need a piss test. That's what you need. Where have you been?
Oh, yeah. You know what's funny is I went to Amsterdam, and it's all just weed tourism. I'm all, weed tourism. There's like little weed trinkets and stuff there, that you can get them all. You can get that
Yeah.
all over Colorado Springs, man. Like
They're like,
everywhere you go
it's
in
not even
Colorado,
a
we have
thing no
weed
more.
tourism.
I bet
know.
you I bet that messed up their money a little bit.
Yeah. I was just like, yeah. I mean, a lot of people were down in the red light district or whatever, like gawking. I didn't actually see any like prostitutes or anything, but all the weed shops. Actually, the best part of it is the sweets shops
What's the point of
next to
going
the.
out there if you're not gonna at least see it?
I don't know.
You gotta go experience.
He went with his wife, D.
I did.
They gotta experience everything so they can be like, you went to the red light.
Like,
district.
babe, let's go look at these. Let's
That's
look at the
what-
hoes real
Is
quick.
it true?
Well, we did. I know. I was kind of curious,
When I was in Korea, I was curious too. But you're not allowed if they catch you in the red light district in Korea, bro. You're going. They might kill you.
But
It's
in
like that
In
serious.
Amsterdam, they tell you red light district.
That's
get
what they're
high.
famous for. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would have been like, Jen,
Let's
let's
go check it
Down
out.
to the.
Look at that! I can't believe she has no clothes on.
Just a woman in the window with no clothes.
That's funny, man. So anyway, I'm
But
glad you made the
after
trip,
I
John.
got back though, because everybody rides their bikes, I'm like, I gotta start riding my bike again, man.
Oh yeah, that's how you feel.
Yeah. But we did actually get work done.
You
too.
actually value your life, and you live in Colorado Springs.
That's
so
true, yeah,
riding
yeah,
your
it's
bike
safe
is
there.
kind of not a
that's
safe
true.
thing to do in this
Definitely
city.
isn't. Guys, safer bike lanes, Colorado Springs.
Yeah, man,
Whichever
let's do it
camera
together.
is on. That one's not on because there's no red light. But
Yeah.
because I already broke my wrist
Yeah, dude.
skateboarding. I'm not gonna
This
break
dude,
my other
man.
one.
You're 43 years old, John.
44.
44. Yeah, double quads, man. That was a good one. We should have did that for
Yeah,
your
we
birthday.
should have actually. Damn.
Anyway, man. All right, dog.
I'm not a youngster like this one here.
I know.
She could be out skateboarding every day and not break
the
a bone.
future,
You
man.
could have pointed
Debatable.
at me. You're not
That's
a
very
youngster like
debatable.
me neither.
Yeah, that's true.
The
I forgot
future.
we have D here.
Yeah, but you said youngster.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You're
She should have said me.
definitely much younger than
She's
me.
Rightly.
youngster, but you should have said me too.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna hold that until later in the show. I'm gonna cuss this dude out by the end of the show, man.
We have a better dynamic than him and Will.
That's because
man.
I have to carry the weight when it's me and Will.
Oh man, Will don't watch this show anyway, so you can
tried.
just talk about it.
He tried, but he struggles. You know.
He's slow. He on the slow bus.
Yeah, you know. He
Yeah, I know.
struggles.
Yeah. Hey man, so what
D.
happened, John? You were on the internet, scrolling, looking through your Facebook.
Yeah, did you
talking
guys
shit.
see this? Did anybody else see this?
What
The
did you see?
new mural up on the Colorado Springs police station parking lot.
Oh, I did see that.
You didn't
I
see
didn't
that?
know where it
I didn't get
was.
to see it.
Did you see it? Did you go?
Yes,
look at
of course I drove by it, Sean.
it? Oh my God. Man.
Ah, Pace 164. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Pace. Is it Paez? Is that how you say
Pace,
it?
I think.
But in defense.
I don't want you to
Pace,
defend
No,
him right
don't
now. I
defend
know he
Pace,
did
man.
John Adams.
Yes, so he's great.
No, he's not. Here's the thing.
Dude's a Trump
Here's the
supporter,
thing.
racist.
That's not. Let's hold on. Rewind it. Rewind it.
I'm
Rewind
talking
it.
about his art, not his belief.
Yeah, okay, he's a good artist.
He's a good artist, man.
But-
he's a
But I'm not- I
motherfucking
don't-
piece of
not-
shit, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know about his beliefs.
Here's the thing. So in your defense, we'll say this. He got that mural done. That's the
Fast.
first mural that you got done. He got it done by himself. Like he didn't have, usually we got committees and shit's happening. He did it by himself and it got done el pronto. So he didn't even know who Pace was. He just was looking for a muralist, and then this guy, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, this guy will do anything
he'll
for
do
money.
anything, yeah,
For sure.
we
No,
got
actually, that's
question.
not true because he wouldn't do the mural.
Oh,
Bailey.
that's right.
Devon Bailey mural
That's
for money.
right. I remember that.
He drew Devon Bailey on the mirror of John Adams.
Oh, but he
Yeah,
didn't do
did.
our
Yeah, he wouldn't
Devon
do.
Bailey.
He didn't want to deal with Chinook, man. He's a
But
Trumper.
also, yeah, he's a Trumper.
He's a
But-
Trumpster.
yeah, and he's like literally people like known like making racist comments and bigoted comments and all this shit. Like, not a fan. And anyway, the point is,
Fuck that
those are
guy.
all fuck you points too.
Yeah.
But like, I'm sorry, but he's doing this big mural on. This will be a good segue into our topic today too. On the police station that says community.
Yeah.
And it's got the police badge right in the middle.
And
It's on the police station.
the complete opposite of community.
Yeah, but they've been running a great PR campaign lately of pretending like they're like really.
Hey,
like,
this new
part of the
police
community.
chief, he's gonna try to shuck and
That's
jive.
good.
You know what I'm saying?
What
Yeah.
if they're really trying to make that change?
But they're not.
But
They're-
here's I agree that because you know what? After I commented on this, I got inboxed by the community relations department of the Colorado Springs Police Department. Hey, I noticed you've been commenting on a lot of our posts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the same thing happened to Jax too. And so like I already saw what he had sent to her, and I'm like, oh, this feels really sincere since it's a form letter. But then we had like a long time exchange, like quite an exchange, and I was like, I wouldn't feel comfortable talking to you without an attorney. Like,
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the situation. Charges pending and shit like this. But yes, they are making a sincere effort at public relations, but they're not making a sincere effort to change policies, practices,
Right.
procedures. They're denying that that there's problems.
That they need to fix. Their report said that they were. What was it that
There were racial disparities.
Racially, disparative against.
There was
against
a lot
blacks.
of there was excessive use of force cases.
Yeah,
What are you
and
guys talking about?
we're talking about the
CSPD.
police. The
The-
police.
but-
Keep up, D.
The lead tech?
Nah.
No, the
So what happened?
Transparency
So,
Matters report.
So what happened was we
But
got.
that's the thing they had stargazers.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I went to
yes,
that.
yes.
I
That,
thought that
yeah,
was
the lead
trash,
tactic.
but-
Yeah.
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 That's what it was. So anyway,
ready to leave.
you should have. I wish I could have been there, man. Oh
Yeah,
my, they probably
but-
wouldn't let me in.
But ain't nobody just gonna admit that they did stuff wrong. They gonna try to.
Well, yeah.
But
What do you
I don't
think, D? What you wanna go?
Well, this
you wanna go hug the pigs?
This
D?
so can this.
I always gotta argue with this dude about the police.
This,
man.
let's get Shay onto this because the reason I
okay.
invited Shay on today because she made this really like great post the other day.
Yeah.
And she was like, "It's been 2 years. What's changed?" Right? Something like that. Right? Was that the gist of what
Yeah,
you were saying?
that was-
And
Yeah.
I like paused on it and I was like seriously, what has actually changed? Like, and I was really thinking about this. Like, I was like walking around. What has changed? You know what I'm saying?
Like,
Like,
we
seriously
gotta think
though,
about this
because
shit.
it is one of those things where, and I would like you to talk about this and like why you posted this. 'cause
Yeah, that's what I wanted
there
to talk
was
about.
so much potential, and now we are like 2 years away, which is like a decent amount of time. It's one thing if we're like a month or two out. You
Yeah.
you might not expect that much. 2 years is a decent amount of time. Like 10 years will be great. See what happened.
Right.
But
by 10 years is too late. 2 years is enough time
yeah,
to
yeah,
get it
yeah,
together.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did start to think about like, okay, well, what are some like measurable things?
Yeah.
What are some measurable things that we could say, like, okay, this has changed or this hasn't changed? But then I also like to think about, like, well, what are some, like, things that are harder to measure or, like, that are maybe not so direct that maybe changed or didn't change, you know what I'm saying? Because there are specific, it's like, hey, let's think about, like, when Devon Bailey got killed. There were direct demands, like, we don't want the city being investigated by the county because they're too close to each other, right? But then there are also, like, bigger items at play, right? They're like just generalized police reform, right?
Yeah.
And the way that they operate. So I was like, I think that's a great question.
What were
2
you
years
thinking
later.
when you posted that? What was on your mind?
So, personally, I was just on Facebook, and my memories are coming up, and I was seeing the protests. So it called to mind a lot of the demands that we had been making of the city in particular, of just police reform overall. And I was left with the feeling that largely nothing had been done. And I went back, and I actually yesterday went live 2 years ago, and I feel like I was so green when I was watching it because I was so excited to hear about the Law Enforcement and Accountability Act.
Yeah.
And what I thought it was going to mean for the city and what it was going to mean for the future, when I didn't realize, as a like someone who studied political science, that democracy is actually really slow, and that legislation wasn't even set forth to take place until July of next year.
Right.
So as I'm sitting down and getting ready to have this conversation, I'm really sitting here, and my feeling when I made the post was that nothing has changed. But when I'm really sitting down and I'm looking, I'm like, really nothing has changed. Like, I feel like between the policing, and I feel like just our community continues to cry out more and more in various ways. And I think one way particularly is the increased gun violence that we see.
Yeah.
People, we have needs. We don't have access to health care or food or jobs or housing. And people are going out and they're trying to take it, and it's children. And I think all of these are just obviously not results of policing directly, but it is all an intricate cycle in which works together to keep our community down. So ultimately, I felt really kind of defeated. Like,
Yeah,
we're
that's
here
a
we
horrible
are.
feeling.
Yeah,
Although I
you're
got to
not-
give you props though, because I remember that day down at the Pioneers Museum. You were speaking on the
Yeah.
steps of the Pioneers Museum.
She
There's
goes
like
off, yeah.
1,000 people down there or more people, you know. Great job. And then the housing march, you were just laying into the police. And I was like,
Yeah.
bravo. Like when I saw
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that was happening because
Yeah.
of course I was like in a police
Yeah,
car.
but
But when I saw the
afterwards-
video, I was like,
Yeah, you've been the whole time. I remember seeing you all she was at the Trump thing too. I remember seeing
oh really?
you
Were you
all
down
the
at the
time.
Trump?
Was,
Okay,
yeah.
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 Okay.
For a while there was another girl that, I didn't know you. I had no idea who you were, but there was another girl that kind of favored you, and she wore a beret, and I was like, she's the girl that wore the beret, and then, you know what I'm saying, it was a big thing, confusing, whatever, but I'll never forget that. But yeah, you've been around doing this stuff here, and here's the thing, I agree, and I think that, well, I know that our community came from nothing. When they killed Devon Bailey, there were community organizations, and they were doing charity and do whatever it was happening, but there was no like real opposition to the oppression and things that we were doing, 2 years ago or whatnot. So I feel what I've seen happening is, yes, on the policy front, lawmaking front, is still sitting there and they're looking at us with their hands on their hip. But under the surface, this place is bubbling, yo. And I've asked John, like, have you? Because, I'm from here, but I never paid attention to community work, you know what I'm saying, or what was going on with all of the stuff. And I asked, have you ever seen this much activity, you know what I'm saying, all over the place, you know what I mean? And, he said, no, it's really not ever been this way. And I feel like, that's a step to come, is the policies and all this stuff. Like, we still have to get this shit together, you know what I'm saying? We still don't vote and things. There's a lot of stuff that we just got to clean up and organize ourselves. And we've been like really, really heavy on that these past 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
And that's motivating to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because that's what I wanted to get to too, is because I feel you on the like so every day when you walk into the Chinook Center, not you, I guess, you don't walk in there, but like me, I see that community demands sheet that we have up, and like sometimes I'll just stop and look and be like, ugh, like literally none of this. In fact, I think in a lot of ways, I was just saying to somebody earlier today, like we're living in the age of reaction, because in a lot of ways it feels like things have gotten worse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It depends on
What you're
where
looking
my
at.
mind is
Yeah.
too at that time, because I can like be really dark and be just, "Ugh, this sucks,
Yeah.
But then other times I'm like, no, like, come on, guys, like, what you just said is true, and usually it's like policy. It seems like it comes earlier than cultural change, but in some ways it seems like the cultural change is leading the policy
Leading
change.
the policy change, yeah. That's what I feel. I see it, and then I guess where the value of the practice, and the participation of all of this stuff, folks are, they're dealing. They come to the Chinook Center, then they'll go over to Rise, or they'll go over to One Body, or they'll go and and there's interconnectivity that's happening, and then like cross pollination and idea sharing and stuff. So, we're to the point where it's like all we need is some funding, and we can make it crack. You know what I mean? And then I feel like that we're gonna make we're gonna make all of these things happen when it comes to, or your generation is gonna make it happen, because we're gonna be too old. But
That way we can buy elections like they do.
say again.
That way we can buy elections like they do.
Yeah, we put some lobbyists. That's these gonna be our lobbyists.
Nah, but I know that I understand what you were saying with the change or whatever, that nothing changed in 2 years with as far as the policies and all of that type of stuff. But I think that a lot has changed in the last 2 years, not policy wise, because I don't believe that the police is going to change anything until the people make it. And if you think about, like, even just in K-Land, like right now, like in this building, in the last 2 years, we didn't had 3, 4, all this whole row that we have is community organizations, which never happened in K-Land, period.
Oh, you talking about in the plaza right here?
Yeah, K-Land Plaza.
Yeah.
So with, like, as far as like the police and all that type of stuff and changing policies and all that, they're not gonna change anything unless they have to change it. And the only way that they're gonna have to change it is if the people come together and we make them change it.
D, that's what we've been saying all along.
Yeah, but so,
Hey, Sam, we told him we gonna radicalize this dude, didn't we?
no, but what I'm saying is that there's change, and if we focus on what we do and us continue to bring the people together, because there, you said crying out. When are you gonna stop crying out and come stepping out? And so that's like really what the problem has been this whole time. That's why they're able to flip the district boards or whatever they want to flip, is because we ain't showing up and we ain't coming out, we ain't voting. But now we're kind of changing the culture a little bit, especially over the last 2 years, because now organizations in the past never worked together. Now organizations and different groups are working together more than ever. So it doesn't matter how far left or how far right you are, we find that happy medium and we work together and we show that community unity, because everybody play their own role in the community. And if everybody play their role, my role is to go out and say, kumbaya, y'all come together and let's just make this happily ever after. And then when they start punking and bullying on me, I come tell them, be like, look. But it's like, my job, I feel like, is to bring the community together. And I feel like the Chinook job, like Sean's big. It's his job to protect. Him and John, they protect the community. So whether you like what's going on or not, one thing that you do know is if something is going down and the smoke is coming, you know who you can go get. And a lot of the times, people are afraid of that. The police and the authorities in the city and all that is afraid of that because they go against their everyday as usual, their norm. And I think that if we keep doing what we're doing on the ground, that eventually, no matter what, because it's going to change down here regardless of the policies, because the only way that they're going to be held accountable is if we hold them accountable. Yeah. We can't go protest for a week and then go back to crying back. We need to start voting, and we need to start showing our presence in the streets. You brought up the gun violence. The gun violence is like that now because we wasn't there to raise these kids the way they were supposed to. The generation that's before this generation now, where they just shoot wildly, they were in prison the whole time, so they didn't get raised right. So now it's our job to get the MOI together and other organizations and people together, so that we can show them the right way. We can't attack these kids because they wasn't raised the right way. We got to go and try to do whatever we can to be that example.
Yeah, I think that you know that for that point, that's exactly what's been. I feel it's been happening, and even like outside of K-Land. You know what I'm saying? But what I want to ask you though, what's the most important part of it in your view? Because there's a, you know, folks get the vision, like, right, you know, he got it, I got it, we all got that, you know what I'm saying? Once we're focused on it, we're on it. And then that's my most important issue, right? But what, you know, so when you took that you know, 30,000 view look at it, what do you think it is?
I think effective policy leads to tangible change in a community. So that's what I look for as a result of any public demand. So, and essentially that's what it was. We set forth certain demands, and ultimately I think that they were largely unmet. And that's not to discredit the work that we do in the community, because as someone that happens to join these events occasionally, I definitely see the work that's being done by the community, and it's important work, and we need that to be done. But I also believe that there's a certain arm of it that needs to be attacking it on an institutional front. Like, voting is only one part of it. Like, we can vote, but if we don't have nobody to vote for, what does it really matter? Like, we need candidates, we need lobbyists, we need people that are actually going to go and actively influence the policy and the officials that are making the law of the land in the place that we live, because that's what's determining the fact that we don't have any trees in the city and that our bike lanes are horrible and we don't have any sidewalks.
Yeah.
So this community work is great and it's important, but we need leadership, and it needs to attack on an institutional front, and that's something that I've always very strongly believed in.
Me too.
But that goes with the roles that everybody play. We need somebody right there, but we can't have somebody doing all that and working on the policy, but they don't have the backing of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we can't have the back, like
It's
all
gonna
has
come
to come
from.
together,
It's
but
gonna
it's gonna
come
start
from
little by little.
that
and
what
it's
we
not-
doing.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's gonna come from that.
It's
Like the
gonna
people that's gonna
eventually
run
grow.
for those seats are coming out of these organizations, out of the things that we're doing. And while you were talking, I thought that too. Like, man, you know, because we were just talking about Are we gonna talk about what we talked about yesterday? You know, we do this every show. Like, man, we don't know what not to say.
See, I always think that like gives like a little juicy like what's
So
That's what I just did.
yeah,
Like,
so
let's
we talked about like the possibilities in running for public office, and who we have around our organization, other organizations that would be able to do this thing. And it was funny that me and you talked about it, and then me and this guy was just the other day we was texting about, you know, putting this thing together. You know, I'll talk about Stephanie V. Hill and Misha Smith and AJ Sexton. I forgot the other dude's name that's running for 15. But anyway, they're like together. Everywhere they go, they're like bam, bam, bam.
David
Torres, yeah. So like everywhere they go, they're together. So you know that if you vote for one of these people, like, or
like
all
a
of them,
slate
whatever it is,
or
they got a
whatever.
slate. Yeah, remember I was telling them about this slate. So I feel like that's the steps that we're at, you know, like identifying potential candidates and start practicing and training, and you know what I'm saying, and see that where we could get it cracking at. And then, you know, everyone is talking about political education and voter registrations, and you know, making the voter registration connect to the ballot box.
Get out the drive. That's more important. Can I just say that? Or get out the vote is like so much more important.
Vote,
People are registered in Colorado. Let's do get out the vote.
Everyone's registered. Yeah, well, for the
we
most part.
definitely need somebody who's gonna be in there that's gonna really represent us, because like you said, voting don't really mean nothing if we don't have the right people in there.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things too. You were talking about like institutional barriers, or maybe not, but problems. But in Colorado Springs, one of those is the fact that like city councilors, there's a reason why 99% of our city council over the last however many, I guess 150 years now that we've existed, right?
Yeah. I got arrested on our 150th.
Oh, that's right. We both did. Hell yeah.
Oh, wow. That's right. I was there. Oh, my gosh.
So funny. Man.
And I was praying for them.
But you know, they're all like white military retired officers. That's like what a majority of the, totally, exactly. Because they make $6,000 a year. Like, working class folks can't be like, well, I'm going to quit my full-time job and become a city council member to make $6,000 a year,
so
which
I could
you
get
can't
ran
live
over
on.
by you guys. You know, like,
Yeah, exactly.
I never. Who was it? Williams that said that to Yolanda?
Oh,
no,
Tom Strand? You're talking about Dolphin Strand?
Yeah, Dolphin. This damn guy. So we were on the. Oh man, that the no sit lay ban.
Yeah, the no sit
went into
ordinance,
effect
yeah.
June 1st, I think. But anyway, we was in there talking about that stuff, and you know, Yolanda and Hingham, they were both the only ones that were like, no, don't do this. You know what I'm saying? So you know, they were upset, and Yolanda had tears in her eyes, and Strand's like, you got to learn how to play politics.
Yeah, he was
Suck it
like,
up,
this is
buttercup.
he was like, this is why you need to win more elections or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was literally a week after they had just installed Stephanie Fortune into District 3 against the
Everybody's
voters' will.
will.
Yes.
The voters voted.
Nobody wanted her
against
there.
that shit. And they were like, nah, we're still going to do it
Yeah.
anyway.
So it is one of those things where it's like, well, Jesus Christ, like the level of like institutional barriers that we do have to even get into those places is difficult. So I mean, this goes back to that like community. Well, okay, you got to build up that base or whatever so that you can start making that inroads in certain places. Like I know you ran for school board, which I thought was pretty great.
Yeah,
Because you should. You're
God,
young. You
man.
remember. Like if I ran for school board, I'd be like, let's see, what was school like? You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, there more young people should run for school board because you're much closer to like when you were actually in school and you know how it was running. Like, when I went to Palmer and Horace Mann and like, I don't remember how those actually operated back then. Like, I barely remember anything about that.
Those troublemakers
Yeah,
don't remember.
Shay, man, you were saying
try not
today.
to remember.
I told her this off, like, you know, we were meeting or whatever. But man, if Shay would have got on that, oh my God, it would have saved everything. You know, because
Oh yeah, that's
like,
right.
D11, like it would have changed the whole everything. So, man, anyway, that's just how
good on
close
you
we
for
are.
doing
You know
that,
what I'm
man.
saying?
Well,
We're really close to. Yeah, I appreciate you taking up to do that. I think ran for 3 too, and you know the same kind of thing happened to her. So
totally.
everybody just do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Practice and participation, man. So yeah, man, I think that. So John, what's the state of the city?
You know, we should do another state of the
We
city.
should do
That
the
was
state
fun.
of the
I
city.
like
But
doing
like,
that.
do you think that we're strong, or are we strong, or are we weak? Are we stronger, or are we the same from where we started?
I think we're strong. I mean, because I think about this a lot too. I'm all, well, the Chinook Center as a space didn't exist back then.
Right.
And just even since then, I just feel the energy a lot of times here, even when I'm having those days where I'm like, why didn't anybody show up to this thing? You know what I'm saying? When you get like 5 people to show up, and it's like an incredibly frustrating feeling. But like, just even the fact that like what you were talking about, like community folks and people working, and you were talking about like people working together in different groups, like. When I was growing up here, like, and like when I first got into activism in Colorado Springs, like the like white activist community did not interact with like the black community really. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like
right.
those were just 2 completely different communities. Like the black community was advocating, and the white community was and it was mostly like pacifists. Like nothing wrong with pacifists, guys. You're fine.
Right.
But like that was like the thing here, like anti-war, which I understand. It's a big military town or whatever, but it really like groups weren't working together and addressing like these like bigger city issues that like affect the city on whole, right? Or like the South Side on whole or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right.
So I do think in that regard, like there's just been a flipping of how politics actually is operating in Colorado Springs. And I really think that our city council is not representative of our
people.
city at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's not a single black person on city council. Yolanda is probably, you know, I mean, if she wins her district or her Senate District 11 seat, there's not going to be any Latinos probably on, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, unless somebody runs. But, you know, it's not representative. Most people in Colorado Springs aren't actually retired military officers.
Right.
Which is what the city council
Or give a
basically
shit what
is.
they think.
Yeah, exactly. They're not really representative. And the city's not actually as conservative as the city council is. They've basically just
taken
created
over
a
it.
system in which they can maintain power.
Yeah.
But I think that's what's important is we have to realize that. It's like we can't just pretend like, oh, if we vote, then it's going to change
Then
something.
they'll listen to us.
We have to realize that there's actually like a hardened shell there that needs to
Yeah.
be broken down in some way. You know
You
what I'm
got
saying?
you got to go in there and say the F word, and they'll break down.
Or you got to point your fingers at them or
don't
something.
point at me, young man.
But
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, but I do think that Colorado Springs is stronger in that regard, even though like the District 11 board has like flipped to be like,
Yeah, I
like,
want to talk
they're
about
like
that real quick.
Christian fascists or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying Christians are fascists,
But
but
they're
that's
like
the type
Christian-
of
I'm a Christian, and I don't know what fascist
exactly,
is,
yeah. And like the Pikes Peak Library District Board just flipped
Oh,
to,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
basically like, we don't want our kids to read about like be reading critical race theory and be reading about LGBTQ issues and all this stuff. It's like, come on, guys. Those things exist in the world.
Right.
Although, you know what I was going to say? I forgot. Did you guys see that Citizens Project, a bunch of other groups, are suing the city to move the city elections to November instead of April? Because they had the numbers, like, when there's voter turnout in April elections are like 20-something%.
Oh, so it's during the main cycle.
Yeah, so they want them during the main cycle because during the main
more
cycle,
voters.
voter turnout is way higher.
'cause
And
there's
that's
more
one of
awareness.
those, exactly, that's one of those like structural impediments
Yeah.
too, where it's like, well, the people in positions of power know that like it's basically old white people
Right.
that go vote in these off-term elections, that they're like following these weird elections that like most of the rest of the city isn't
Yeah.
paying attention to.
Right, right.
And so that is one of those things that I mean, I'm hoping they win. Good on
Me too.
If Mike, are
Hey,
you
man.
watching? Mike, are you out there?
Yeah, Mike's
Good on
probably
you,
gonna
Mike.
cut it on. Hey man, that dude, man, I'm so proud of that guy, man. The stuff at Citizens Project, that Poor Richards is right below Citizens Project, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, their
Yeah,
office
yeah.
is right above there. But that stuff that they're doing, that he's gonna. I want to say turn it around. I think Citizens Project did a great job. They were doing good stuff. Deb Walker did great, and then COVID hit and they whatever. But that shit is about to go off. And if you see Citizens Project, if you see their posts, if you see their events, make sure you participate and answer their surveys or come to the whatever it is, because they're gonna need it and they're gonna do good work with the power that you give back to them. You know what I'm saying? So.
I feel like D had something he was
Yeah,
about to say.
there's one more again that we got to talk about. So just kind of to wrap this thing up, right? Because Jen talked about it at the Taekwondo school that opened up next door to us.
Yeah, by the way, you guys
yesterday.
missed a great block party if you weren't
Yeah,
there.
the block party was bouncing. It was like all day too, jumping. They had rap shows and dances, and the kids was doing performances.
I got attacked by a dog.
attack dogs out there. It was
What? Don't
crazy.
be so happy about that, D.
Good job.
It was nice as hell outside all day. It wasn't windy.
Yeah,
The only
it was.
thing that
It
was the most
surprisingly
annoying
nice.
Get
thing
attacked so gracefully.
is OG Treetop. You gotta cut that generator down, man.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta get
yes.
TBR a quieter generator.
yeah,
that
and, like,
thing
maybe
is like
move.
a damn M1 tank, bro. That shit is loud as fuck.
Yeah.
So anyway, we gotta get TBR a quieter generator,
Oh
man.
yeah, let's get them a series of those like electric ones or something. You know what I'm saying? Like solar power.
One of
Get
the
some
ones that
solar
go,
panels
yeah,
on the
go
roof.
up on top of this shit right there, and yeah. So anyway, we gotta get him hooked up. But anyway, that was the only part of it we couldn't hear a lot because the TBR was over there, and you didn't have to hear. You needed to be eating anyway. But there's a lot of things that do happen throughout the year with One Body, MOY, the WOY, inside of K-Land, inside the South Side specifically. Community works with Joaquin Mobley over there. There's always something happening with Nick Crutcher
Rock.
and Solid Rock over there. They got the Mission Trace is about to get cracking, and all of the things is going on, and we're consistent with it to the point that people sometimes take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? So like where we would be able to cultivate this stuff is just not taken advantage of, and the community participation and reciprocation has to, it has to start happening not for us to keep going because it's going to happen, but for it to reach its maximum effectiveness. You know what I'm saying? So I said all of that to say the Juneteenth is coming up. And here's the thing, for real though, the Juneteenth numbers have got to be what they, you know what I'm saying? Like we got to participate with this thing for it to be successful. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I asked. I was gonna say the big man, but I just can't, man. It's
The
funny.
baritone voice.
Oh man, Dee to come on and you already interjected on the stuff, but yeah, talk to me about Juneteenth and all of the stuff and how it
Give
came
us
about.
the deets.
So
How it came
Juneteenth,
about and what's
the
going on.
Juneteenth Festival. This year, the Southern Colorado Juneteenth Festival will be at America the Beautiful Park, June 17th through the 19th. This was the city's time to implement a little change in their norms. And so we received the LARC grant this year. And one thing that I want to say about city council and any of these grant people or whatever.
Thank you.
I want to start off by saying thank you.
They do not represent what.
But but what I was going to say about that is the reason why I always put stuff on us and on the people is because a lot of times we'll say they're not giving us money for certain things or whatever, but we're also not providing that certain things so where we can say we're doing this. So last year, that's why when we came together to do the Juneteenth, we didn't go out to nobody else. We went to the people that we work with year round, right, Sean?
Yeah.
We worked with people that we work with year round. We didn't go outside and we made the Juneteenth come together. So then when we did put in for the LARC grant, we can say, this is what we did last year, and if you guys wanted to participate into this, this is what you'll be participating in. It wouldn't be nothing that they had to help start, because most of the time, 100% of the time in my experience, that don't nobody help you until you don't really need the help.
Yeah, when you don't need the help,
so-
that's when you got
Right.
That sounds like D20.
Yeah. So, so with the Juneteenth, we just wanted to just make sure, and we just talked about this today. We wanted this to be the day where the community, the Colorado Springs community, can come together and have a good time for one weekend, to where we're not talking about our differences. We just coming in and holding hands and having fun and seeing what the future can be if we can just do this every day.
I'm going to give a plug to our last year's Just Cause episode about Juneteenth, because I got to say, I liked that episode. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
So
we
you guys
did
should
good.
check it out.
You definitely ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, is the mayor going to be there this year?
He definitely will. He will.
Mayor.
Yeah.
So
See you down there, I
We got-
guess,
yeah,
Southers.
outside of
We got him ready for the housing march at Juneteenth last.
Yeah.
Remember, we was
That's
like,
right,
you
we
gonna
prepped
see
him
us?
for it.
Yeah.
but outside of the differences that we have, Juneteenth will be about unity and coming together for that weekend.
Do you think Mayor Southers will say Black Lives Matter this year?
He probably won't never say that.
Come on, Southers.
He
Yeah,
will
man.
come.
He
He
don't
will
believe that.
support, because at the end of the day,
He has to.
however people support events, we need them to support them. Because the more people that support, the more people that pour in, the bigger that it can be. And then that's really when the change comes. Because a lot of times
Right.
it's like kind of like what you were saying. You have this group over here and this group over here. They advocating, but they're not advocating together. And a lot of times it's because they never interacted together. So in order for people on the city council to have empathy for us, they have to interact with us and find out that we're people too. You get it? So that's kind of like what we want the Juneteenth to be. We just want that to be the melting pot of love. And so it's going to be...
Who
3
gonna be
days.
there? Who?
We're going to have national acts coming out. We're going to have Anne-Marie. She's a young person. Do you know who Anne-Marie is? I don't know.
You're
who
a young
she
person.
is.
You know all young people, don't you?
You heard it.
But
girl.
she's out of my league, because I'm a little bit too old to know. But we got Anne-Marie. A lot of the young people know who it is. Saturday's going to be dedicated to the young people. So we got Anne-Marie coming headlining Saturday. On Friday, we have the Women of Impact is having their Expressions Juneteenth Festival. Fashion show. So that'll be the headlining event for Friday. And then on the headlining event for Sunday is going to be Tony Exum Jr.'s Rhythm and Smooth Experience. And he's going to have special guest Teo from the group Drew Hill, Case, and Changing Faces. They'll be playing with him. We're also going to have the Emancipation Ceremony. We're going to have a car show. We're going to have a fitness. I forgot what it's called. Excuse me. But Natalia.
We'll edit
the-
it.
the
We'll edit
Zumba-
it to
the Zumba.
say
The
that
Zumba,
it's...
yeah.
So it's going to
Like
be
you knew
a fitness fair. It's going to be a fitness fair
fitness
from
fair.
8 to 12. We're going to have a Father's Day tribute. We're going to have We're gonna have a whole bunch of things. We're gonna have the Juneteenth jaunt. Shout out to Affliction. Jamon G is hosting his segment. We're gonna have a gospel segment. Stephanie
All right.
Summers.
I'm gonna host the gospel segment.
Yeah, you're gonna do the opening prayer.
All right.
Stephanie Summers.
I want to hear that. I want to be there for that. You know what's going to be nice about it this year?
It's gonna sound like Snoop Dogg's.
The park area will be open. The bridge will be open.
It's gonna be
Like,
open.
It will actually be
I've got
open this
something
year.
Very special for y'all.
What's that?
You're gonna have a lot of police presence. And I guess I don't know if it's I don't know if it's because of the shootings, but you know they want to make sure that the presence is high. So
They want to make sure that they think that we think they're necessary.
So
That's
Yeah,
what
they
they're.
want to
this
show that
one day-
their necessariness is what?
yeah, but for this one day of kumbaya-ness, the police will be there for us to protect us.
They're not gonna be. Man, stop it. They're not
waiting
protecting
for
us from nothing. What's happening is, and this is here. Let me translate.
Go ahead.
So the police said we gonna be there or you can't have it. And I wasn't in no means. This is my translation. So what happened is they're not police gonna be there. Ain't nobody thinking about shooting in no Juneteenth except the police. Ain't nobody thinking about no drama except the police. Ain't nobody bringing no drama except the police. So
Or Sean.
yeah, I bring the drama to the police though.
Typically, that can be true, but for this,
I was translating for you.
He was like the Obama translator guy.
You don't supposed to translate the translation.
Yeah, dude.
no, we gotta fix the translation.
I want to hear Shay's translation. Ah, crap.
Go ahead
I'm
and give
Sean.
your
I'm Sean this
translation.
week with my mic.
I noticed when I went to I went to Pride and I went to Juneteenth in Denver, and there not really walking distance, but you're determined enough you can walk to 5 points from the city center.
Right.
And I also noticed increased police presence at Juneteenth versus Pride. So I mean, it's not anything I would not expect.
Right.
And
Yeah. So
Wasn't there a
anyway,
shooting
so
last
we know
year
what
in
y'all,
Denver
we know
that
what it is.
Juneteenth,
Black
yeah.
folks gonna be there. The police is gonna try to be there too.
not
So
sure.
anyway, I
I
don't
don't
talk.
know
You
if I
shouldn't have
went
told me
last
that, man.
yeah, you know they charging is not an in kind.
What? They're not paying you to be there?
Yeah, I would, maybe y'all can work that out for the next year.
I'm gonna
But-
bring my credit card machine.
Yeah, man. We need to. Hey, man.
Nah.
Hey, we're gonna raise our own security force.
Nah, but
for
we
the
just-
year 3.
That's the last thing the city wants to hear. We're gonna raise our own army.
Yeah, for the Juneteenth, so we don't need the police.
Yeah, but you
We
know,
can rent horses and everything, just like them.
there's certain things that that just through the test of time.
Yeah,
That's
man.
always been, just like you said, it was
It's gonna be
a
like that.
disparity in police. Is that, did I say it right?
yes,
Policing.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
But
over policed.
It's
as
cool.
usual.
As per
because,
usual.
See, the thing about it is, I'm gonna tell you why the police want to be involved. Because they know that it's gonna be a dope event. They want to be able to get paid to enjoy the event. So come
I'm sure
on,
that's right.
we don't want to
Yeah,
mess up their
I'm
money.
sure they love black
Nah,
life.
but-
they want to come.
Dude,
and
dude, I
But
know
I've
that.
been-
I forgot his name. Who's the cop that was there last year? Damn.
Hey, he's not. He ain't gonna bring his helmet this year. I bet. I bet he brings his polo
But
shirt.
y'all want to
Yeah, he
know.
better
Y'all
be in
want to
his
know
polo
the
shirt.
thing that could happen.
What's
It's
that?
like, so once the Juneteenth happen, and then especially as the years go on, and then especially when the city treats it kind of like how they do territorial days, like
Yeah.
like their
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, and then we can kind of change the culture.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit by
No, I
little.
agree.
You right, man.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, there's I talk shit, and I do. I don't feel like the police. They ain't gonna ruin the show, man. As long as they leave people alone. You know what I'm saying? But
It's
you
just
know,
annoying.
Just
But
know
we
that
did
the,
talk
that
to
the,
them
that
about
the pigs is gonna be there, man.
about being there and having their presence, but not, you know, they know what to do
To leave
because
us
they
the
do
hell
it.
alone,
They do
man.
it in other places, and they agree. They was actually easy to talk to, but talking is different. But I think that it's up to us to set that tone,
Yeah.
and then once we set the tone, then it'll become a norm to.
Yeah. So that's the thing that we're probably running long here, huh? But the thing about it is the culture, right? Because when we started DMOY, one of the main things that I talked about in the first meeting was the black population is 6%, 8% of the city, and of that 6%, 2%'s over here, 2%'s over here, another 2%'s over here. We're not even a whole 6%. We're separated. We're fractured inside that small number. So things like this is where we just got to bring it on in. You know what I'm saying? And root for the home team one time, man. So, well, all three times, all 3 days.
Yeah, all 3 days.
I'm gonna walk across that bridge to it this year.
Hell yeah. Hell
Look
yeah.
over the little overlook at it. Oh, that's a great
that's gonna
idea.
be good
Actually, I'm
pictures,
gonna
man. We
get
should take
picture
some
of it.
pictures.
Yeah.
Like that.
I don't plan on walking anywhere because we're gonna have like the little buggies.
Oh, let me
Oh.
try one of
Right,
them. Let me
little
try
buddy.
one of them. Nah, for real though. All right, then. Hey, but Shay,
We got.
thank you so
Shay's got
much
a
for
plug
coming.
though. She's got a plug, right?
Oh,
Don't she?
sorry, that's right.
I guess I do. So coming up, I will be starting a podcast with Jules Ramirez from Daily Dose. It'll be under locals only. We're going to talk about any and everything. It'll be contentious, I'm sure. So
Hell yeah.
I
Jules
hope
is the
that
homie.
we're gonna be guests on there sometime.
I would love that,
Jules,
honestly.
yeah, man, she need to have. Y'all
Yeah,
need
Jules
to do
is
that,
a
man.
friend of the show.
Jules has been on the show, I think, twice. When we got the mural and stuff, she came through, and yeah, man, I love Jules. So I saw her doing work. I can't remember what year it was. It was before the uprisings and stuff, and she was just out there working. And I saw that she went to Harrison, so I'm like following her, like trying to pay attention to what's going on. And then this is the time when I'm like, this dude D is doing all kind of shit, and I wasn't never nowhere. But I made it a point. I was like, I'm gonna be her friend. So like, I purposefully became Jules' friend, and she didn't have no choice in it. I took her hostage and shit. Ever since then, man. So anyway, that's dope, man. I'm really happy for y'all. Both
yeah.
of you guys are smart as hell, and I can't wait to hear what you guys talk about.
Where can people find it?
It will be released under Daily Dose, I believe, on YouTube and the Facebook page.
Cool, yeah,
Excellent.
yeah. Everybody
So
got
subscribe to that as well, you guys.
joint. Yeah, man, that's good stuff. So I really appreciate it. Thanks for the
Yeah, thank
topic
you.
today. That was
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
yeah.
for coming on, accepting the invite. D, thanks for coming through,
Yeah.
brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Are we
Over.
closing?
Yeah, we about to close
Oh,
up.
so D's got to do the closing too,
Yeah.
or maybe we should let Shay do the closing.
I
since
don't
it's
know. How about Shay do the closing?
Okay. Well, it
like, I
has
don't know what to
been
do.
fantastic. I really enjoyed the time. I was super nervous coming on, but it's been a great time.
Hell yeah.
This has been Just Cause. I'm Shay. We got John, D, and Sean.
All right, that was the
And
best
thank you
we've
very
done
much.
too.
Yo, we need to have other people on to do it all the time.
Yes.
All right, y'all. All power. We love y'all,
Peace
man.
out, everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.